I'm out here committing these crimes now. Cause I murder fucking beats, I'm trying to shine now. Let's get it. Fans told me that I never dropped, a couple friends told me.
Welcome back to Fantasy Gurus, and today we're going to do the top 5 fantasy rookies for the 2020 season. So for my number 5, I have J.K. Dobbins. I think that he was a really good player in college. I don't know how good he'll transfer to the NFL. I thought he was pretty quick on his feet. He had good vision and knows how to get into space. But I think his con is probably size. He's not the biggest back. And I don't know about his receiving-wise, because I didn't see him doing that much receiving in the college league. But I think his best comparison is LaShawn McCoy, and that's why I have number 5.
All right, my number 5 is Jerry Jeudy. In 2018, he had 68 receptions, 1,315 yards, and 14 touchdowns. In 2019, he had 77 receptions, 1,163 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Harrison, I think he's Amari Cooper. They both went to Alabama. He's a very good receiver, Jerry Jeudy. He's very fast, very good route runner. He's a good cutter. I think he'll be very good in the NFL. He's got some good hands. Not a lot of weaknesses, but his production did dip. It's a little bit of question mark, but I just think it's based off of Alabama's receivers are so good. So I think he'll be a good receiver this year, but I don't think he'll have elite production. I think it might take a while maybe to get to his elite production because normally rookie receivers aren't as good their first year. Their second year is when they have a breakout year, but I think he'll do pretty good. I think he'll be the second wide receiver this year in the class.
Okay, for my number 4, I have CeeDee Lamb. I had to choose either him or Jerry Jeudy. They were both very similar. For CeeDee Lamb, I think that he had a pretty good route running this year. He can find open space. He works hard in every play because he breaks lots of tackles and stuff. He's speedy and quick. But I think his only con is probably his narrow build. He doesn't have the best, build for a receiver. I think his best comparison is DeAndre Hopkins because he plays a lot like him and he tries on every play.
All right, my number 4 is CeeDee Lamb. In 2018, he had 65 receptions, 1,158 yards, and 11 touchdowns. 2019, he had 62 receptions, 1,327 yards, and 14 TDs. Comparison, Allen Robinson and DJ Chark. He's physically like Allen Robinson, and he can catch the ball pretty good. He's good at route running. He's got his body build. But I think he's DJ Chark because he can make people miss and he can break tackles, and he's hard to bring down. He did have good quarterbacks every year he was there, but he did have Marquise Brown there last year, and he still did really good. I mean, he didn't really take much of his targets or anything. The only knock on him is the competition. He gets the tackling isn't as good there, which it isn't. But I don't think it's really going to matter. I think he's going to be just as good, and I think he's going to be the best wide receiver in this class. So, yeah, let's go to number 3.
Okay, for my number 3, I have Jerry Jeudy, who is a lot like CeeDee Lamb, but I think he's just a better version of him. I don't know exactly how well he could do compared to CeeDee Lamb, but he did play at a better team of Alabama, but he had to play against hard players in the SEC. I think he had great ability, great route running, and he has the ability to make people miss. He had pretty decent height. He has pretty fast feet, and the only thing that I have against him is thin structure, a lot like CeeDee Lamb. They don't have the greatest body types for a receiver, but I do think that he will be able to do well in the NFL. I think his best comparison is probably Odell Beckham, but because of his route running and other stuff like that.
All right, my number 3 is Cam Akers, the Florida State running back. A little surprised. I don't think most people will have them high up on their rankings. I really like him. 2017, he had 1,025 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. 2018, 706 yards, 4.4 yards per carry. 2019, 1,144 yards and 5 yards per carry. Comparison, a little bit like Aaron Jones. He's got good speed and makes a lot of people miss. He breaks a lot of tackles, and he's good in the receiving game. He has soft hands. Sometimes he has problems because he doesn't choose the right hole. His vision is a problem, basically. But when he does choose the right hole, it's a big play most of the time. His team was the worst of anyone on my list, so I think you gotta bring his stack a little bit up, because if he's on a better team than the other players, he could do better. And his QB was also not very good. I mean, the rest of them had like see, we had Kyler Murray and we had Tua. We got all these good quarterbacks, and he had Blackman. I don't know, Justin Blackman. He's not very good. He's got very high potential, but he's most likely player on this list that could be a bust. So I think it's a risk taking him. And dynasty note, he has some tread on his tires, but not a lot. What I mean is he's gotten a lot of carries, so he's like, if I say he's got a lot of tread on his carries, he's more likely to wear out. He's like in the middle of the road. I think he had 586 carries. I think he's got a little more than Josh Jacobs. I'm not sure about that, but I think he'll be fine for like at least 7, 8, 10 years. So he's a pretty safe dynasty pick that wise.
Okay, moving on to number 2, I have Jonathan Taylor. The only problem I'll start with his pros. He has good vision. He has great acceleration for his size, and he knows how to use his blockers, which is part of the vision. But the only thing I have wrong with him is maybe his wear and tear. He has a lot of carries in college, and I think that if you are a dynasty player, that he may be a risky move for later years. Maybe the first few years he might do well. I'm not saying he's going to be an instant starter. Instant great player. He's probably he's the easiest one to bust on my list, but I think his best comparison is Arion Foster, but I don't really know how well he'll do in the NFL. I think if he does play like he did in college, he'll do really well in the NFL.
All right, my number 2 is DeAndre Swift. 2017, he had 618 yards, 7.6 yards per carry. In 2018, he had 1,049 yards and 6.4 yards per carry. 2019, he had 1,218 yards and 6.4 yards per carry. Comparison, Dalvin Cook a little bit. He's not as big as him, but he has a lot of similar traits. He's got breakaway speed and can make people miss. He also breaks tackles, and he has elite ability to break tackles. I put that in there too. He's good in the passing game, but his stats don't really reflect that. Dynasty note, he does not have a lot of tread on his tires. Only 440 carries in college. I believe that's about what Josh Jacobs had, and Josh Jacobs had a pretty good year. So I think he'll be a good dynasty play or pick. Problem, he was not a bell cow back yet, and his body might not hold up the whole year, so we don't know because he hasn't had as many carries as some of the other backs on this list. And his touchdown production did go down this year, which is a little bit concerning, but because he had a lot of goal line touches. But I don't think it'll be that much of a problem because he's good enough to make up for it with his yards and his receptions in fantasy. So I think he's a pretty safe pick.
Okay, for my number 1, I actually had Travis Etienne, but then obviously he went back to Clemson. So my number 1, I actually have DeAndre Swift because he has the ability to make any man miss. He's super agile. He can actually be a good receiving back. If you watched him play, he has a few receptions. I mean, not a few, but he has a pretty good amount of receptions in college. I think that'll only go up in the NFL if they use him right. And he actually has pretty good hands. I don't think he didn't catch terribly. But the only problem I have with him, he may be injury prone with his aggressive running style. I think he's pretty well compared to Melvin Gordon and Sony Michel. So that's my number 1.
My number 1 is J.K. Dobbins. 3 seasons at Ohio State. 2017, he had a really good year. 1,403 yards, 7.2 yards per carry, highest in college, and he had a lot of carries. And 1,403 yards and 7.2 yards per carry is pretty good. In 2018, he had 1,053 yards, 4.6, little dip, but they were a passing team that year with Dwayne Haskins. And then in 2019, he had 2,003 yards and 6.7 yards per carry. I compare him to Ezekiel Elliott. He's not exactly like him, not size-wise, but he's got a lot of the same skill set. He's not a breakaway runner, I guess, but you could say. I mean, he might break 1 or 2, but he's more going to beat you over time, getting 4 or 5 yards to carry every single carry. His speed is deceptive, though. He can get on you pretty quick. He has great vision like Elliott, and he chooses the right holes, makes a lot of guys miss, and it's really surprising that he can. It is deceptive because of his size. Elliott was a better receiver, in my opinion, than him. Well, he is now, obviously. But they had similar numbers in college, so I think it's possible for him to get better. Dynasty note, he has a lot of tread on his tires. He had 174 carries in 17, so that wasn't bad, but he had 230 in 18, so that's a little more, and 301 in 19, so he's got 705 total carries. I think he's a complete back, and I think if he goes to the right team, he's going to be amazing. I will say I didn't put Jonathan Taylor on here because I don't think he's going to be a very good back because he had so many carries. He had like, I think he had 926 carries, most on the list by a lot. And if you look at Wisconsin running backs in the past, the most that was close to him, there's like a bunch of guys, and one of them was Melvin Gordon. He had the least amount of carries. The rest of them were like Monty Ball, and they're like not irrelevant, or they're not relevant because they had too much tread on their tires because they were overused in college. So I don't think he's going to be a very good back at all.
Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, maybe subscribe. If you don't, then I don't care. But thanks for watching. See you guys later.